In Pokemon's almost 25-year span, there's been a whole bunch of giveaways, some being from kiosks, magazines, tournaments, and movie events. Nowadays, most Pokemon events are distributed through Wi-Fi or code. You're lucky if you even get a physical one like at a GameStop event. So today, I'm going to be talking about the standout or famous Pokemon events, from Pokemon's long line of events in the history of the franchise, and with that said, let's get into it. One cool concept for an event was the ORS version of the Eon Ticket. How it worked was that someone with the Eon Ticket would pass by another person's 3DS. Say they walked by each other. Then through Street Pass, that person that walked by the other guy who had the Eon Ticket now has their own ticket. Even I got one back then. I think it's a pretty cool concept. In the original games, it was just an e-reader card, which using the e-reader and swiping the card, you'd get the content. What the ticket gave you in the remakes and the original games was access to an island called Southern Island. Going back to the games, remake or not, you'd get the ticket from Norman, and talk to the newly added sailor NPC in the Lily Cove City Harbor to travel to Southern Island. Once there, you'd get the opportunity to catch the Latias that was previously unavailable in your game. So for Ruby and Omega Ruby, it would be Latias, and for Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire, you'd get Latios. One thing long since passed in Pokemon event history are distribution cartridges. These were used from Gen 1 all the way to Gen 5. For the Gen 1 and 3 cartridges, they had a PC box full of the Pokemon they were distributing. So, the store handler would just trade their Pokemon from their stacked PC box over to the player. Come Gen 4 though, things changed. Cartridges weren't just a game stacked with X Pokemon. It was a new software. What would happen is that the game card would emit a wireless signal for players to get the Pokemon when in range. It would essentially instantly generate the one Pokemon labeled on the cartridge. Now, some of these cartridges have actually gotten into public hands, in which some sell for super high prices. It's sad though, pretty much all of the Gen 1 to 3 cartridges are probably lost to time, since their saved battery ran out a long time ago, reverting it back to a normal game cartridge. So I probably wouldn't trust anyone selling a Gen 1 to 3 distribution cartridge, either just a normal cartridge or the save rotted away. Moving on. A thing that people miss are the special story sequences that come with an event, which sadly don't happen anymore. Now it's just a go-to mystery gift, enter code, get Pokemon. But the ones that did have a story sequence were pretty cool. Tying into my Halloween video, oh god, my mic quality back then. I didn't mention that the Hall of Origin music came from a cancelled Arceus event, where you get this flute called the Azure Flute from the Delivery Man, and then go to the Hall of Origin and play the flute to summon Arceus. Junichi Masuda, the director and co-composer, thought the event was too complicated, which is ironic seeing how complicated the Reggie side quest was in Gen 3. But if you use an action replay to get that Arceus, or a special movie Arceus that came out in that event's place, and it transferred it to the Gen 2 remakes, and took it to the Ruins of Elf, and placed Arceus in the first spot of your team, it'll get you to the ruins that connect Sinnoh and Johto, also called the Sinjo Ruins, where you meet Cynthia and she brings you to a special place. And when you place Arceus there, this happens. What was that? That trippy sequence was Arceus recreating the world, all to give you an egg of the creation trio depending on which circle you stood on. Which, fun fact, is the only way to obtain a legit level 1 Giratina, Palkia, or Dialga. This is, in my opinion, the best event in Pokemon by a long shot. It's weird seeing real-world images in a Pokemon game, which adds to the creepy mystical factor of Arceus' powers. The only one that can contest for Arceus event is the Celebi event from the same games, which I'm going to be talking about later on in the video. For another cancelled event, there is the Lock Capsule from Gen 5. Essentially what would have happened is that you'd use your copy of Heart Gold or Soul Silver, and get a wonder card for this thing called the Lock Capsule. Then, if you had the relocator in Gen 5, you can transfer the Lock Capsule over to your Gen 5 save. And then, you bring the Lock Capsule over to Mr. Locke, who's found in the top floor of the Castelia City office. He then unlocks it, all to reveal a TM. Yeah, a TM. All that work for a TM. The TM's name is Snarl. What's kinda cool about this is that it's a lost TM. In Black, the game where this can be found in, there's only 94 TMs, and Snarl is the secret 95th TM. Kind of like a worse version of Mew in a way. In this event's place, we just give you a Zoroark that has Snarl in its moveset. Probably the reason why this got cancelled is the same reason the Arceus event got cancelled. It was just way too complicated. But this event I can understand. But I still can't understand why the Arceus event got cancelled. For our final cancelled event, we will be talking about Wonder Spots from Gen 3. Have you ever just walked into Altering Cave and Fire a Leaf Green or Emerald, and after 2 minutes just walked out? Well, there was actually something that was meant to go into the caves. That was never used. It was originally going to be a mystery gift location, where Nintendo would distribute Pokemon that would replace the one Pokemon that lived in the cave by default. Too bad. Pokemon that were going to be cut are in this list I'm showing on screen now. Ironically, all of these Pokemon can be found in Emerald, but Altering Cave is still there for no reason. My personal theory is that Nintendo still considered holding new events in Altering Cave, but ultimately decided not to use it. I don't know. I guess it's just Game Freak being weird. Moving on. A weird one-off one would be the Berry Update Shiny Zigzagoon. Essentially, back in Gen 3, there was this glitch that negatively affected Pokemon's internal calendar. What it would do is that it would cause berry plants to stop growing. It would happen 366 days after you start your game, or 366 days after the internal battery is swapped out for a new one. This would cause all calendar-based events like the berries to be delayed by 366 days. And Nintendo realized this and had several ways to fix it. The most peculiar and odd one being the GameCube Interactive Demo. There were some GameCube demo discs specifically made to download the patch to your game. When downloading the patch, you'd receive a shiny Zigzagoon, holding a Lychee Berry as a reward for downloading the patch. But since the GameCube demo disc can't tell whether your game is fixed or not, you could just keep on re-downloading the update, and just keep on getting shiny Zigzagoons, which probably inflated and crashed the shiny Zigzagoon market that day. Going back to the Celebi event, what takes place is a really cool event. What happens is that when you get your Celebi, you go to the Ilex Forest Shrine. Once you press A on the shrine, your Celebi comes out and sends you back in time to 3 years ago in the past. You then get an interaction with Silver talking to presumably his father, Giovanni. Yeah, the villain from the first game. He talks about his defeat to Red, and how one kid took down his whole organization. He then vows to reassemble Team Rocket, and then leaves. Silver then says he'll become stronger all by himself, and leaves, bumping into you, in which he gets angry at you, then leaves the area. This is actually a nice way to show Silver's backstory. It shows you why he is the way he is, and it adds more weight to when he realizes his wrongdoings. Too bad they couldn't work this into the story. Giovanni being Silver's father would have been an awesome twist. Anyway, Celebi comes out and sends you to the distant past. You're sent to a cave where you meet Giovanni and a radio. The radio then plays the message of when Team Rocket hijacked the Goldenrod radio tower. Giovanni then says his team needs him. Then you get to fight the boss himself, Giovanni. After defeating him, he asks to himself if the past 3 years were a mistake. He then leaves, with the radio calling out to him, waiting for a response they'll never get. Celebi then sends you back to the present, which is the end of Celebi's event. And those were some cool Pokemon events. There's been a ton of events throughout Pokemon's history. Some great, and some forgettable. If you've had the chance to do any of these events, or just want to talk about what events you've done, post it in the comment section, I'd love to see it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!